They said there was once a land called Omuja, a land so blessed that the rains never failed, and the earth bore fruit in every season. The people of Omuja were proud and peaceful, farmers, hunters, and traders, who lived under the rule of a wise old king named Obateran. Their days were bright, and their nights filled with songs. But peace, they say, never lasts forever. One morning, from the path that led through the forest, a strange traveler entered the village. He was short, no taller than a child, but his back was strong, and his eyes shone like the heart of a storm. He carried a small leather bag tied with golden strings, and his sandals were made of stone that glittered in the sun. The villagers had never seen one like him. When they asked his name, he said softly, "I am Noro, son of the deep hills. I come only to rest my feet." The king, being generous, allowed him to stay. A hut was given, food was shared, and soon the dwarf became a quiet friend of the people. But among them were men whose hearts had grown heavy with greed. They whispered among themselves, saying, "That stranger carries treasure in his bag, things of gold, things of magic." And one night, when the moon was thin and pale, 3 of them crept into his hut. They demanded to see what he carried. Noro refused. They struck him, and when he tried to flee, they killed him. The next morning the villagers found the dwarf's body cold upon the ground, and beside him the earth had split open. From that crack, a small green shoot pushed through the soil, growing faster than any tree they had ever seen. By sunset, it had risen taller than the tallest hut. By dawn, it had roots deep as the wells and branches wide as the sky, and as the wind passed through its leaves, a voice echoed through Omuja, a voice that was not of man. "You have taken from the son of the deep hills. You have stolen life, and so life shall be stolen from you." From that day no child cried in Omuja, for no child was ever born again. The women's wombs became silent, and the men's hearts turned to despair. The land was cursed. The king called the elders, the priests, the hunters, but no one could break the spell. At last, the oldest seer in the land, an old woman with eyes white as milk, came before the king and said, "The curse was born from the blood of a dwarf. Only the dwarfs can end it. The tree that grew from his death is bound by their magic. No axe forged by man can cut it down. If you wish to save your people, send 10 of your bravest to the land of the dwarfs, deep beyond the 7 mountains, to fetch the Axe of Oru, the blade that can fell the tree of vengeance." The king wept, for the land of the dwarfs was said to be a place no man had ever returned from. But he had no choice. He called for 10 of the bravest, hunters, warriors, and wanderers. He promised, "Whoever returns with the axe shall have half my kingdom, and the hand of my daughter, Princess Adina, whose beauty is like dawn on a quiet river." So they set out, 10 souls against the unknown. They walked for 7 days through thick forest, where the air grew heavy and strange songs filled the night. By the 8th day, 1 man fell, bitten by a serpent as black as the moonless sky. They buried him where he lay and pressed on. In the 10th night, another grew thirsty and drank from a silver pool, not knowing it was cursed. He turned to stone before their eyes. The rest trembled, but they did not turn back. As they crossed the mountains of smoke, the air became thin, and voices whispered from the rocks. 2 of them vanished in the mist, their names never spoken again. The others pressed on until only 6 remained. When they reached the Valley of Mirrors, they saw reflections of their greatest fears, and one by one, madness took 3. They tore at the earth and wandered into the shadows, never to return. The last 3 reached the gate of the dwarfs, a door carved into the mountain, guarded by runes that glowed like embers. A voice spoke from within. Why do you seek the Axe of Oru?" Their leader, Jair, the youngest of them all, answered, "To heal our land, to lift the curse of Noro." The voice was silent for a while, then said, "Only one may enter. Only one may bear the weight of what he seeks." So Jar stepped forward alone. He passed through darkness deeper than night, and there, in the heart of the mountain, he found the dwarfs, not of flesh and blood, but of flame and stone. They looked upon him, and their leader said, "Your people took one of ours. Why should we give you what you ask?" Jara fell to his knees and said, "Because I am not them. I came not with greed, but with guilt." The dwarfs murmured among themselves. Then their leader raised a hand, and from the fire beside him drew forth a shining axe, its blade forged from lightning and iron. He placed it before Jare and said, "The axe will do what it was made for. But know this, for every stroke against the cursed tree, a life will be taken. The tree grew from blood. It will fall to blood." Jair bowed and took the axe. When he stepped outside, the mountain closed behind him. He turned to find his two companions, but they were gone. Only their shadows remained upon the rocks. So Jare walked home alone. He crossed deserts and storms, his heart heavy, his body weak. When he reached Omuja, the people gathered around him, for they could see the axe glowing in his hand. He raised it high, and with one mighty swing he struck the cursed tree. The sound shook the heavens. The sky turned red, and lightning cracked across the land. He struck again, and again. On the third strike, the tree screamed and fell, its roots burning like fire. But when the dust settled, Jare lay still beside it, his body cold, his eyes open to the dawn. The curse was broken, the rains returned, and soon the cries of newborns filled the land once more. The people built a shrine where Jair fell, and the king wept for the boy who saved them all. They said Princess Adina never married, for her heart belonged to the man who gave his life for her people. And even now, when the wind passes through the plains of Omuja, it hums softly, like the whisper of an axe cutting through wood. Some say it's the spirit of Jair, still watching, still guarding the peace he paid for with his life. Moral of the story: greed brings curses deeper than death, but courage, even from one heart, can lift what evil has sown.